Start off with the World Cup standings in the men's biathlon. Martin Fourcade is away and clear, not quite 100 points clear of Emil Hegle Svendsen, but it's a comfortable lead. Whatever happens today, he will stay in the yellow bib as the World Cup leader. However much it rains, it won't put him anywhere further down the order. The start list for the pursuit: Melishko Gorinichev, a double for Russia, ahead of Svendsen, and then Bjorndalen going off number 10. Arndt Pfeiffer at 12 will be dangerous, should be able to make up ground, and Terje Bo is back in action, number 25 for Norway. 1:15 off the pace at the start of the day. He can certainly work his way into the top three. Further down, Dominik Landertinger of Austria. The Austrians missing Suman this week. He's decided to carry on training, and he'll be back in action in Ruhpolding. Ted Armgren goes for Sweden, and the Swedes have looked pretty strong, even with Bjorn Ferry absent. But the crowd have been astonishing so far. They enjoyed this morning's race with Miriam Gustner and Andrea Henkel both in contention. Not sure who they think is going to win for Germany this afternoon. Well, an Oberhof wave, we'll call it, here in the stadium. Over 25,000 turning up for today's pursuits. They like this head-to-head racing. It's very dramatic. We saw extraordinary happenings in the women's race, with the leader missing 5 on the first shoot and the leader missing 4 on the second shoot. They were different people, incidentally. And so lane number 1 may want to be avoided. So the countdown starts. Melishko gets away first. Look how tight it is between the leading 5 skiers. Only 15 seconds separating, and we've got 10 going off in 32 seconds. So Melishko looking for his second victory in succession. Goranichev going off 13 seconds behind. He doesn't want to push too hard in the early stages. And then Emil Hegle Svendsen right on his tail, starting for Norway in the red. For France, well, they'll be relying on Alexi Berth, who had a very lackadaisical crossing of the finish line yesterday. Surely he could have been on the podium if he'd kept the pace going right the way to the line. 7 away for Sweden, Freddie Lindström, and then Austria's Julian Eberhardt starts ahead of Vega of Switzerland, who had his best run of the season yesterday. Bjorndalen, Moravet, Pfeiffer and Schapulin going off between number 10 and number 13. Clement Bauer 14, Simonada, and then the World Cup leader, Martin Fourcade, back from injury and back on some sort of form, but not quite the form we saw before Christmas. Makeyev, Desvieux, Vindish for Italy, Jakub Fak at number 21 in bright yellow, not easy to miss. He should be able to make his way up the order, but it will all depend on hitting the targets in the prone position. Semenov, Anev, Labilund, the tall man from Norway, wearing 24. Terje Bo goes just behind his teammate, and then Tim Burke of the United States, the first of the Americans across the line this afternoon. It's all go out there. Lesser, Schenk, Fourcade, Vindish, Iliev, all on the tracks, and they've got a total distance of 12.5 kilometers complete. 4 shoots in all, 2 in the prone, 2 in the stand, and the champion is going to have to keep his nerve as well as keep the pace. So nothing dramatic happening in the early stages.
Well, it's a new moment for Melishko to lead the group out. We saw his ski pace yesterday. It was quite phenomenal. I think he risks... Oh, is that Simon Fourcade?
I think it's Martin Fourcade. He's had the yellow bib in. It must have been the World Cup leader. An uncharacteristic slip, but watch out. There may be some big falls this afternoon. Well, the first 5 started just 15 seconds apart. Ustigov has managed to close that by 1 second. Volkov started 21. He's moving well. Lindström was 29. So Lindström's leading that chasing group and just taking things pretty easy. There's Martin Fourcade. He sure doesn't want another fall after the damage he did to his shoulder over the Christmas break.
Well, a reaction like that, when we saw him just capture his fall, again, it puts a lot of force through your shoulder, which is painful for Martin. So has he injured it even further?
And he won't like the fact that Alexi Berth has had the cheek to beat him.
Boof is, for me, he's a potential winner. He could win today. His shooting has been that good. And, well, you never know. I think I agree with you when he just backed off in the last 20 metres. He thought he was going through to take first when he crossed the line yesterday. And it's so important to push all the way to the line. He just backed off slightly.
The leading four are about to become five. Ustigov still pushing and pushing, trying to stay ahead. Guess who's setting the pace in the chasing group? None other than Ole Einar Bjorndalen. Lindstrom getting tied up with him. It was Freddie Lindstrom wearing number 7. And being caught out by Benny Vega, who's trying to make his way up on the outside. That's always dangerous, Mike, because it's so easy for one ski to go over or under another.
So easy to trip up. The track is wide here, but, well, the perfect line clearly is the line which is most used, so it's slower if you're trying to go wide and round the skiers. Also, look at the flags, an indication that the wind really has picked up from this morning's race. Yeah, that was skiing over the top of another athlete's ski. You can't really help it.
Yeah, it's wide enough for 2. It's not wide enough for 3. So I don't know who was in the wrong there, but they both did each other a disservice and lost a little bit of time. Malishko still has the lead as he comes to the 2 kilometre marker. 12.5 kilometres, remember, so each lap 2.5 Ks. And with a short lap like this, Mike, the penalty of one loop which stays exactly the same, 150 metres, is quite severe.
It is. It's about, today it's going to be running at about 20 to 22 seconds for the athletes who will be going on the penalty loop, and there will be many. But the 2.5 kilometre, it's a track profile. It's not the toughest when we compare it to rope holding next week. It is easier than rope holding. The hills are long and gentle. In rope holding, they're very steep, but not quite as long. There's also, Patrick, we've got in 1 minute 1 second, the best 20 athletes. Normally we only get about 15 into that 1 minute in the sprint race the previous day. And I think it actually opens up a possibility with Terje Bo only starting 1 minute 15 behind. You're only talking 2 or 3 shots that some of the best have to miss, and Terje Bo can move forward, but he has to hit all the targets.
Well, we've got a minute or so before they shoot for the first time, maybe even less than that. What's your assessment of the current shooting conditions? We know about the rain, we know about the mist, the wind has been changing. Are we going to see a poor level of shooting like we saw in the women's pursuit?
I think we're going to, and the wind is much quieter up here at range level than it is out in the trees or out in the woods. But it's still going to be testing. We're just beginning to lose daylight. Of course, the lights are switched on in the stadium. Typically, Oberhof is one of the most difficult ranges to shoot on.
So he's in the dreaded lane number 1.
Now, the Russians had lanes 1 and 2 for their practice shooting, their zeroing. Norway's had lanes 3 and 4 in the zero.
No Germans in the leading group of 5. I mention that because it means the crowd will be relatively quiet. Ruthlessly efficient, not the fastest, but fast enough. Malishko gives no one an opportunity to take away his lead. A miss from Svendsen and a miss from Ustigov. Goranichev, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4, and down goes number 5 for Goranichev, Alexei Burf. Nice, I like the tactics from Burf, Mike. He didn't rush, he just wanted to make sure of 5 targets.
Yeah, he's clinical and he doesn't feel the pressure.
Bjorndalen, 4 out of 4, the crowd responding to his targets. Down they go, 5 out of 5. Pfeiffer now on the range.
Martin Fourcade, he's missed 1.
5 for Pfeiffer, 5 for Bauer, 5 for Morovitz. Martin Fourcade, as you say, Mike, missing 1. That will put the pressure on. Are we going to see him win again today? He's had, what, 1, 2 victories so far this year. But up until his last race, which was the sprint yesterday, consistency, finishing in the top 5 has really been the key, and that's why he leads the overall World Cup.
Oh, he is. His summer preparation was wonderful. He said he would shoot a little faster, but he's just improved his shooting statistics by quite a margin. It was 84, 85 last year. He's up at 89% hit rate this year. I don't know why we're seeing a red mark on Bjorn Dahlen's time, but that has been there since he shot. Normally indicating there's something happened to the target, or maybe it registered as a hit and it wasn't.
Well, we saw one disqualification yesterday, if you were with us. Florian Graf of Germany disqualified for unbelievably blowing down the sight from the barrel end rather than from the stock end of the rifle. Effectively blowing down a loaded rifle. He's been reprimanded. He got banished from yesterday. We're not quite sure what the long-term punishment is going to be. The important thing, though, is that everyone learns their lesson. These are real guns, live ammunition, and dangerous if handled incorrectly.
It was shocking to see it, and huge risk involved by doing that, but he's been disqualified. He's learned his lesson, and he said, in a race situation, you go into this mist comes around you, you're only thinking of hitting targets.
8 of the top 10 shooting clear. You might notice that Svendsen has dropped out of that leading group. Clement Bauer going from 14th up to 5th. Bjorn Dahlen going from 10th to 4th. We're in for an exciting race, but the biggest games of all coming from Michael Schlesinger of the Czech Republic, who's gone from 17 all the way up into 9th position at the moment. But still, it's Russia that lead with Malishko. Well, this is the second group here. Malishko, Buff and Goranichev have gone through. Oleina Bjorn Dahlen lying in 7th at the moment. Looks good news for the fans. Has he been pulled out, Mike? Because he was in 5th. As far as we know, he's been handed a 30-second penalty. I wonder whether he jumped the gun at the start.
That's the only thing I can think of. Normally you get 2 minutes penalty if you haven't done your correct penalty loops. That is automatically added onto your time, but a 30-second, maybe he did just jump the gun.
And they're quite harsh, aren't they? You only have to go over half a second and you will get that 30-second penalty. If he continues as he has done so far today, and he still wins with a 30-second penalty, I will take my hat off to the man and say never retire, as opposed to think about it.
I wonder if, yeah, there we are. So it is, for an early start, it is. What a pity. They used to have marshals there standing in between each of these lanes with their hand on your shoulder, the athlete. Now it's left up to the athlete, and it really is. You're in a panic situation. It's not. It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, but we can all read a clock.
We can. Well, Bjorn Dahlen was supposed to leave at 35. He probably only jumped it by a second.
Yeah, what is he now? 38, 39, possibly needs glasses. Most of us start to need them at around 40. He could put that in as an excuse, but it won't carry any weight. He will take those 30 seconds, and he's going to have to put in the performance of his life if he wants to finish in the top 3 today with those on. The Norwegian team not happy. It can be a bit petty, can't it, Mike? If you gain 0.1 of a second and they say, right, that's 30 seconds.
I would love to see exactly by how much he did.
Well, we won't find that out for a while.
Early start.
Malishko needs the same as last time. 5 nice steady shots, all of the targets going down. If we're lucky, we might get a close-up of the target. Fantastic. Great shooting.
Is just in that lovely zone where he's not thinking about it, he's already gone. It just looks so beautiful. Same with Goranichev, but he takes a little more time.
Burf makes sure. Well, Bjorn Dahlen hit 5. He's got 4. Pfeiffer's missed, which takes a bit of pressure off Bjorn Dahlen. And the top 5 all going clear. Lucas Bauer, a little bit of time to clear his 5th target, but it's gone down. So no real gains made. Svendsen, who missed in the first time, missed with 2 targets, I believe, first time round, has gone clear at the second time of asking. Ustigov goes out. Moravet's doing well for the Czech Republic. Bjorn Dahlen in 6th, but that time, that 30 seconds added, that's tough, isn't it, Mike? Do you think they'll tell him?
I think they will. I'm sure the coaches will have informed them that there's a 30-second penalty, or will they? They know how experienced he is. I think it's better to tell him during the race.
It's better, in my view, it'd be better to tell him after the last shoot, so he can up his level if he's in a position to win. He always gives it 100%. You could argue it won't make any difference. All it can do is upset him, make him angry.
There's certainly 100% hit rate so far, so there's nothing at the moment on his mind except the normal conditioning to succeed.
Well, there's no doubt that the Russians' performances are improving bit by bit. Have they got the timing right for Sochi 2014? They're all talking about it. That's all they're interested in at the moment. But they know they need some good results, so they go into the Olympic Games next year full of confidence. And if they have a look at that current leaderboard, they'll be delighted. Anton Shapulin is, I think, the number 5 Russian, and he's only down in 15th place, and he's one of the best.
It's incredible. On the other hand, all these spectators in the stadium, they want the Germans to come through, and Arne Pfeiffer, the best at the moment, 13th position. I think he can move up from that, and Simon Schemp from 29th to 20, so good news for Schemp. Both still looking good. He's at 100% hit rate. There he is, looking more relaxed today. There was a lot of tension in him, and he didn't have a very good relay on Friday.
But he's had a fantastic season. Started it well with a 2nd place up in Östersund in the first sprint of the season. And of course, getting 4th place in the sprint yesterday just sort of underlined the fact that he does have the potential to be a World Cup winner. He's not out of this one quite yet. If he can hit all the standing targets, the chances are he'll finish 1st or 2nd. Well, this is the fight for 2nd and 3rd. Svensson and Moravits, the 2nd group. And then that, in fact, Bjorndalen and Moravits together, you got
Bauer.
Yeah, Bjorndalen and Bauer, Svensson and Moravits. I'll get it right eventually. And Svensson is absolutely flying on this 3rd lap. He's taking no prisoners here, trying to break away from Moravits.
Well, he came out of the range, well, only, 4 seconds behind Moravits. He's ahead of him now. Moravits, 100% hit rate at the moment.
Ustigov is there as well. 17 is Michael Schlesinger. We mentioned him before. Of this group, he has made the most gains so far. And don't forget that Martin Fourcade started in 16th, just a few seconds ahead of Schlesinger. So he's having a pretty good run, despite the fact that he missed 1 target on the first shoot. How many have gone clear so far? We know about Malishko and Goranichev and Berth, the leading 3, all with the perfect scores so far. What about the rest?
We've still got 10, 11, 12, 13. It's good shooting today. 13, 14, 15 have shot the perfect 10 out of 10. Some have not done so well. We've got
we got a couple of
Kazar missing 6 out of 10 in the drone.
And Dusan Simoko missing 5 out of 5 on the first shoot. He better go and have dinner with Miriam Gosner, I think.
Tobias Eberhard, he's missed 5 out of 5 the 2nd time in. Best mover I can see in the pack, it says Simon Fourcade. He's moved from 30th up to 19th, again with a perfect shoot.
But still almost a minute and a half off the pace of the leader. Simon Fourcade coming back into the World Cup for the first time this season after an operation in the summer. It will be a couple of weeks. I don't think he'd have been expecting to be challenging for a win here today. Martin Fourcade already looks better than he did yesterday.
Yes, he certainly looked a little laboured, and to lose 52 seconds, surprising. He missed 1 target. There again, most of the elite yesterday did miss 1 target.
Dmitry Malishko. Well, there might as well not be a crowd there. There is no reaction whatsoever. It's been a long weekend. There are going to be a few sore heads tomorrow when they all go back to work, but what an atmosphere. I'm delighted that a few of our viewers have decided to go and watch Biathlon live. We always recommend if you want crowd involvement, Ruhpolding and Oberhof, I think, win hands down. If you want scenery and a nice occasion, then I think Antholz is probably the favoured resort at the moment.
I think Antholz is amazing. You've got that little village atmosphere, and the parties are still there in the village at night time.
Yeah, and if you want the hardest journey possible on earth, you go to Khanty-Mansiysk. But it's worth it when you get there. It's very different. A cultural experience as much as a biathlon one. Now, here we go. Shoot number 3, first in the standing position. Milishko yet to miss a target. And he doesn't look as though he intends to miss today. Smack in the middle, great shooting, and once again slams the door shut on those chasing him around the track.
Milishko, he's on amazing form, because it appeared as if he wasn't even out of breath there. He was, of course, but he's controlling it so well on the range. Gundalen, he's missed his first. Svendsen got his first. I think
3 out of 3 misses for Bjorndalen. His day's over. Those 30 seconds now make no difference whatsoever. Goranichev gets 5, Berth gets 5. The leading 3 stay the same. Svendsen was getting closer, but one miss from Svendsen throws him out of contention. Moravets, on the other hand, has gone clear. Clement Bauer, Mike, familiar story, shooting brilliantly and skiing fast on the prone, and then starts to throw the targets, miss the targets, and incur a few penalties.
Well, yes, Bauer is only a 56% hit rate in the stand, and what a pity for him. If he could turn that round by 15%, he's constantly challenging for a top 10 position.
These men all looking to gain loads of places. It looks as though Benny Vega of Switzerland might come back. Nearest the camera, Vega. With a smile on his face, deserves it, having hit 5 in the stand. Freddie Lindström of Sweden goes out with 450 metres, and Arndt Pfeiffer, well, what was going on there? Possibly shooting on the wrong target.
That was amazing. Pfeiffer missing 5, Gusner earlier today missing 5. It's so unusual for a world-class, a World Cup biathlete to shoot like that in just one set of 5 shots.
Well, we've seen a lot of 5 misses. What do they have a name for it in the World Cup?
So really
certainly happens. In the army, the military scene, it used to be known as the pineapple. 5 out of 5. How many times? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we've seen that happen today.
Amazing. And look, we can see the flags. They're barely moving. There certainly isn't the wind influence.
This is how to do it.
One big breath in between shots from Milishko. Sorry, that was Goranichev.
Well, the leading 4 are still faultless. That's fantastic shooting. Andrei Moravets has got to within 37 seconds of the lead. He started 11th, as you can see on the left-hand side of that screen. 37 seconds, he's still close enough to take the win should the leaders finally crack, but there's no sign of that so far. Milishko, Goranichev have been perfect so far. Now, these two are pushing their pace in a bid to catch Milishko. Last time we saw Mike 26 and a half seconds between first and second. That effectively is one penalty. Milishko can afford one penalty and he'll still come out maybe with a lead of, what, 4 or 5 metres over those chasing 2?
Yeah, absolutely. They're taking at 21. Most of the best are taking 21 seconds on the penalty loop, but Milishko is just looking so rock solid, so focused, so easy on the range. I'm not sure he's going to miss.
Svendsen keeps pushing. He keeps pushing, and the more he pushes, the more likely he is to miss the targets. Moravets has just kept it steady, hit the targets, and skied steady. So certainly the least painful way to do it. But Svendsen really has no option. Missing 2 on that first prone, really upsetting his whole race plan.
Well, that's right, and Svendsen's only 51 seconds behind, running much the same ski speed as Milishko. Lindstrom, I thought he would do well today. He started 7th, he's down in 19th. He went and missed 3, of course, in the standing.
Well, Alexei Burf is skiing exceptionally well to stay with the 2 Russians. Here comes Svendsen, moves back up into 4th place. Started the day in 3rd, of course. Dropped down outside the top 10 after that first shoot.
Taya Bo has gone and missed another 2 in his stand, so he's way down.
Good shooting from Bilanenko of Ukraine. He shot the perfect 15 out of 15. He's gone from 38th up into 17th position at the moment. 40 to 26 for Carl-Johan Bergman, despite missing 2 targets on the prone. Other advances, Martinelli, I think, has gained the most positions, 24, having gone from 52 to 28, with just 1 miss out of the 15 so far. Well, he's got himself into the World Cup points with that effort.
Tim Burke, he started well with 0-0, then in the first of the 2 stands, he's going to miss 2, so Tim Burke 23rd, and Taya Bo's down in 30th with his 4 targets missed. So not the best. I thought Taya Bo might come back after his, well, long break, long period off to recover. I thought he might come back quite strong, because they'll never enter him into this race unless he feels that he's back in close to his best shape.
You don't feel that you need some World Cup racing. I'm sure he's done some local races and some club races and selection races, but World Cup racing is a very different kettle of fish, and surely you need a couple of races before you get back into the rhythm of it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Ruhpolding has... name escapes me. Viktor Maigorov just been shown a replay of the footage of this man last time in the stand. He looked so good.
So here we go, 15 out of 15 so far. If he hits the remaining 5, victory is his. Malishko looking to make it 2 wins in 2 days and a total of 120 World Cup points to his name. Just slightly low right, and again. Easy, easy does it. There's nothing quite like winning a pursuit, hitting 20 out of 20. He has given no one a chance. Maigorov applauds. He knows just how difficult that is. And that, I think, is probably the most controlled performance we've seen all season. Now the race is on for second. Svendsen has brought himself into the fold. Well, I wouldn't like to be a deer in Russia at the moment. These guys are just too good.
Oh, last shot for Garanishev.
Chance for Svendsen.
He's
blown it.
That's tough for both. And Svendsen.
So Moravec, who also has hit 15 out of 15 so far.
I cannot but be aware that those along to his right have missed target. Svendsen.
Good reaction shooting from Moravec. He clears the lot. 20 out of 20, and he will move into the top 3 coming out of the podium. I hope he saves something for this final lap. He's not as quick as the men chasing him. Time and time again, Svendsen has caught him, but he does have Garanichev to work with on this last lap. Benny Vega is going to go up the order again. Vega Mike started in 9th, I think, so good gains from him. Started in 9th, 32 seconds behind. That margin has grown, but he's improved his position dramatically. And still Svendsen on the penalty loop alongside Alexei Burf. Goes out in 5th, 119. Svendsen finally gets out in 122. Volkov 128. The top 3 positions. Well, Garanichev might be safe. I think Garanichev will almost certainly finish in the top 3. The question is, will Moravec be able to hang on and give the Czech Republic another top 3 finish? They've done so well over the last couple of seasons. Ada with 2 misses, shooting fast, maybe too fast this time round. Shapulin of Russia, who's fought to get back. He's missed 1 shot on every single shoot so far.
Well, Moravec has hit the perfect 20. He's got to feel good about that. He wasn't so good in the relay on Friday night, but that was incredible form from him on the range, and he took a little look back there, and it's quite safe behind him.
Moravec started 37 seconds off the leaders. He's come out of the range Mike, what's the margin between Moravec and, of course, Malishko leads? Well, you can see it there, 54 seconds. So he's lost a little bit of time to Malishko and looks as though he's going to give up the chase on Goranichev.
Now, if Moravec can keep that same magic, that form, that feeling on the range, it's so important, it's confidence, and it looks so easy. You get into that zone where you just can't miss. If he can hold on to that through till the middle of February, he'll be a very famous man in the Czech Republic.
Svendsen finds his way through, and from 6th up into 5th, ahead of Alexei Burf, who shot 0-0-0 and then missed 2 on that last stand. Maybe the occasion getting to him there. Ustigov and Volkov, look at that, 4 Russian flags in the top 10 positions at the moment.
Volkov did so well yesterday, starting, second last, 98th in difficult conditions, and coming through to his 6th place. I'm sure it could have been better if he'd started earlier in the elite group.
Well, the relay, perhaps an indication that things are starting to go well for the Russians, Mike. Of course, Russia coming through to pit Norway in the men's relay on the second day of action here in Oberhof. Moravec hasn't given up yet.
He hasn't. He really let him go initially, Goranichev, but who wouldn't? The tempo that Goranichev has, he's on a man on incredible form.
And Benny Vega sensing that a podium is possible. That would be his first podium of the season. Malishko must know by now that victory is in the bag. I think again he gets a little information.
It's one of the best performances we've seen for a very long time. Goranichev nearly fell backwards there, just a little off balance. Malishko started with 14 seconds. Well, he's almost a minute ahead now.
Yeah, solid performance. He didn't rush any of the shooting, but he didn't look as though he was going to miss any targets either.
Well, Andre Rybar, we saw him just looking through the scope. He's one of the youngest coaches on the range there, but he's done so much good. He's given the Czech Republic team so much belief and very sensible planning. Moravec is not over yet. He might just be able to get back in behind Goranichev for the sprint finish.
I think Moravec needs a coach running alongside him all the way to home. Of course, he's got to keep his skates on because he wants to stay ahead of these two men. Vega is moving, but Svendsen is moving even quicker. Last time we saw Svendsen, he was 1:22 off the lead, and he's going to get considerably closer than that, and may challenge for a top 4 finish today. But it's all about this man, Dmitry Malishko, who won the sprint yesterday, and he comes through to take the pursuit today. Well, he's the first man to double up this season. Martin Fourcade went from 10th to 1st, Jakub Fak went from 3rd to 1st, Svendsen from 2nd to 1st, and Malishko, he holds on to the #1 bib. A brilliant performance from him, and it looks as though Goranichev has finally got the better of Moravec.
Well, Goranichev, it was sustained effort. It was just pain upon pain and slowly pulling the meters ahead of Moravec.
Vega or Svendsen for... Svendsen. What is it, 4th or 5th position?
Svendsen,
4th position.
I think Svendsen's got that. He had 12 seconds to make up from the range.
Well, Vega has just over 150 metres to hang on. If Svendsen's going to go, he's going to have to time the sprint very well indeed. Goranichev across the line to claim 2nd, 42 seconds down. Good last lap from Goranichev. And Moravec takes 3rd. The Czech Republic doing exceptionally well. Svendsen goes past Vega. Vega just watches him go and says there's nothing left to give.
No, he had nothing. I mean, Vega, if we remember back to Friday, he had a very poor performance, the slowest of the Swiss team in the relay. And he really has lifted that form, but not enough to fight Svendsen.
Yeah, Vega's happy with that, and so he should be. A good weekend's work for him. He finished 9th in the sprint. He's got 5th in the pursuit, and that will certainly boost his confidence. Alexei Burf, Mike, mixed news. He was up with the pace. He stayed with the Russians for the first 3 laps. He shot brilliantly for the first 15, and then let it go on that final stand.
Yes, he did. And look at it. Ustigov's come in 6th position. And this will be Volkov coming in 8th position. Brilliant day for the Russians. But not such a brilliant day for the Germans. I'm just trying to find where the first of the German team was. Eric Lesser from 28th to 11th. good performance from him with only 2 targets missed.
An easy victory in the end. Enough time to cruise those final stages for Moravec. Bjorn Dahlen, he threatened early on, but then incurred that 30-second penalty, or had it applied after he was deemed to have got a full start. And so Bjorn Dahlen, 14th at the moment. He finds himself behind Martin Fourcade, having come in front of him. That will be a little bit depressing. One champion overtaking another. Larbilund of Norway, 2:30 behind, just ahead of Simon Fourcade. So the 2 Fourcade brothers, they're there or thereabouts. I think we'll see something more from them when it comes to the World Championships next month. Ada and Eberhard. A mixed bag of shooting across the board now. Bjorn Dahlen having it explained.
Oh well, Franz Berger just telling him there at the end. He wasn't aware.
No, he wasn't happy either. He knew nothing about it. So that was an answer to one of our questions. Would they tell him? No. Telja Bo, 22nd, Semenov 23, Anef 3:06 behind for Anef. Good little sprint coming in from Lucas Hoffer on the right, just gets in front of Arndt Pfeiffer. Now, it's not been a good day for Arndt Pfeiffer, Mike. Masses of targets missed. 0-1-5-1. Explain that if you can.
I just cannot understand. He looked stable. We saw him on the range. His alignment looked okay, and there wasn't much wind. Maybe just the local pressure. It often happens to the Germans. We saw it in the women's race with Güssner missing 5 in the prone. Maybe it's just one of these days, getting used to the local spectators shouting every time you fire the rifle. Cheer.
Other shooting scores that will want to be forgotten fairly quickly. Jakub Fak misses 8 after a really good start to the season. That's disappointing. And Maciej Kazar of Slovakia missed 10 today. 50% hit rate for him. Some tired-looking bodies crossing the line. They'll be glad that it's all over for a couple of days, but they start racing again on, what is it, Wednesday, Thursday in Ruhpolding?
That's right, Wednesday first races. Eberhard, it was a bad day on the range for him.
Well, we're heading to Bischofshofen next, and David Goldstrom, I know, very excited about the final stage of the Four Hills Tournée. The stadium is packed in Bischofshofen. It should be a fantastic night. The battle, I think, between the Austrians and the Norwegians. Gregor Schlierenzauer in leading position, hoping to claim the Four Hills title this year. Well, that's to look forward to. We'll see you on Wednesday when the Biathlon World Cup resumes in Ruhpolding. Goodbye for now.